Okay, hello. So I will be doing my oral presentation for AGE 110 microcomputer and technological applications about GPS and its major effects in the Forestry Department of American Society. This presentation will be by me, of course, Lorenzo Licata, and the topic will be, of course, GPS. Forestry resource management. Forestry relates to GPS because forests are a part of the earth and they take a massive amount of land, which means they are able to be tracked and observed from far above via GPS to track their health and how illegal logging takes them out. The usefulness of GPS to forestry is like coral to fish or mangroves to seagrass. They both support each other, they both hold down the soil, they both hold down the sand, they're both beneficial to the ecosystems they're involved in. And GPS is beneficial to those forests too, because GPS is helpful to forests and helps prevent their destruction illegally for profit by mining companies and logging companies. Now, here you have a picture of boat scars on the left, which is, of course, because boats are careless. Motors will destroy the seagrass underneath, and sometimes these areas never get recolonized. And then you have GPS being used on the right. So, what is GPS? GPS is a system utilized to map out the Earth and even other planets. GPS has been in use since 1973. So, GPS came after the moon landing, which I thought was interesting, but you know, we didn't even know about Antarctica before we knew about other planets, which is also an interesting thing to know. And how has GPS been used? GPS has been used to track things happening on Earth, but in recent times it has been used to help people find things to do in their area, like looking up parks, restaurants, or local businesses, or even finding the fastest route to save the most on your gas mileage and your gas bill, because it can calculate the fastest possible route. For example, one of my clubs, we like to go down to the Eastern Panhandle every once in a while. And it turns out the fastest possible route is to drive through Maryland to get there instead of just going down, which was interesting to me because it looks like the longer route, but it's the faster route. It's the most gas efficient route. It's the most sustainable possible route you can have with gas cars. But for my major, GPS has now been popular in tracking deforestation, degradation of coral reefs, and even utilized to track oil spills and mine runoff disasters that are so commonly happening in the oceans and the rivers of our country. Who developed GPS? Gladys West was the first person to develop a GPS tracking system. Then the US government picked it up and effectively turned to reality via satellites and also giving Google some of it to create tracking systems and also help manage and prevent deforestation happening illegally. Now, something to note is that Germany was the first person to develop a code for the Google Maps app. So they developed it, right? And then, Google kind of stole it from them, took it away from the Germans. And there was a whole lawsuit about it. And the Germans lost that lawsuit because it was corrupt. But Germans had the first code for the Google Maps app that we all use nowadays. It's just, Google stole it from them, which is a shameful thing. Now, example of GPS being used by people, Google Maps, of course. Google Maps, which was a German invention, but was turned. And as you can see, the person is tracking a location. They're trying to get to that location, and they're going to ask for directions. What is the potential impact in agriculture, natural resources, and design? GPS can map and track locations, which is good, and such and is applied to agriculture because it can be utilized to track fields and predict crop yields. It can also be applied to track certain field grains and plant species and be able to predict year-round production of crops and how they are utilized. Farms also use these to map out their areas and their land and find more effective ways to utilize their land to be able to have the greatest possible potential outcome on their farms. And also, it's important to note that agriculture has been enhanced by GPS because now you can track what plot of land is yours. So you don't have land disputes with your neighbors. And also, it's nice to have GPS to be able to see if some of your yield is dying because cornfields can become pretty large, especially in the Midwest. So if you look over out on the land, you might not see everything. So GPS can help you track what plants have had infections or have bacterial infections. So it's very good for that too. What impact has GPS already had? Well, GPS has already revolutionized the world of agriculture, has made farm tracking a legal activity and tracking oil spills all the much easier. And also, people have been having fields for a long time, and sometimes pests get involved in that too. And through GPS tracking, you can look down on the field and see the changes over the days. You could tell when a pest has infected something based on maybe a large outbreak. Like, let's say locusts are in your farm, and you can't see it yet because your plot of land is so large. Using GPS tracking systems, you can look over the land and you can see, oh, wait, locusts are affecting that plot of the land. So then you can find effective measures to control it. GPS has also been able to track boat scars in the Florida Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean of Florida because boat scars are hard to see. People have boats, they can go anywhere with boats. So you can't really tell where boat scars are. But tracking where these boat scars are via GPS tracking systems, you can find ways to see and map them out so you can plant new ones to help cover up that area. So there's lots of benefits in that. And here's an example of GPS picking up on a signal, and that'll be the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening.